What's up everyone, here is AhkTaar, welcome back for more news on Infinite Magicraid, and this time we are going to talk about the 3 new heroes coming this Friday in Infinite Magicraid. And so the first one is Melot. She is a poisoner from the Wizard's Eye, so the first poisoner we have in this faction, so pretty interesting, because poisons can lower the damage inflicted by enemies, so it's pretty interesting. She's an attacker with a blue mark, pretty nice for the tower. So let's talk about her kit. First of all, I would like to talk about the passive here, because she has a unique mechanic granting some layers of poison enhancement to each allies, but only your poisoner will profit of that buff. Let me explain to you. When she survives, grants 1 layer of poison enhancement to any ally that inflicts at least 1 layer of poison, so only poisoners can get this buff. And each layer of poison enhancements increases the poison damage dealt up to 5 layers, so maybe it's gonna be 10% more poison damage. So maybe the maximum 50% more poison damage for your heroes if they inflict 5 layers of poisons at their turn. That means it's not gonna work, they are not gonna get poison enhancements using pursuits or counterattack, I'm pretty sure of that. So it's a pretty unique mechanic, why not? She can enhance a lot maybe the damage dealt by your poisoners. So let's talk about her skills now. The basic attack deals attack damage and extra poison damage to a single enemy, so it's a single target skill with a chance to inflict 1 layer of poison for 2 turns. For each layer of poison the target has, increases the extra damage dealt by 10%, so up to 100% if the target has already 10 poisons on him. This can be huge, especially if you use her with Ben Austin and Catherine. Every time you're gonna counter attack or pursue the target, if you have 10 poisons on the enemy, normally this skill is gonna do an amazing amount of damage. Pretty sure of that. And also you can inflict 1 poison using the basic attack, so it's pretty interesting. Second skill deals attack damage to a single enemy with a chance to inflict 1 layer of poison for 2 turns. Afterwards, any ally with no less than 2 layers of poison enhancement, so if your allies have 2 or more layers of poison enhancements, they are gonna pursue and attack the same target when she casts a crystal mark, this first active skill. Pretty interesting in a poison team. If you have some heroes that can deal a lot of damage on the basic attack, at least with using this skill you can inflict more bleeds faster, so it's pretty interesting. After casting the skill, for each ally that successfully pursues an attack, reduces the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn. If you use her with 2 poisoners, for example, if you use her with a support, Taff, or maybe another one, Walter for example, or Nita, then it's a second skill, maybe it has a 3 turns cooldown, so maybe you will have it every 2 turns, something like this, so it can be really interesting to get more pursuit with her, Ben Austin, counterattack of Catherine, it could be great. The cooldown of this skill cannot be increased or reduced by other effects, and this is pretty nice for the arena against Ina and Ben Austin. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate, Crystal Burst. Deals attack damage to all enemies with a chance to reduce their effect resistance by 50% for 2 turns and a chance to inflict 1 layer of poison for 2 turns, meanwhile refreshes the duration of all poisons. So by herself, she can be your main poisoner, reduce the resistance of enemies by 50%, which is huge, and in AoE, so it's great in PvP, PvE, dungeons, and against bosses. So it's a great hero. Just reading her skills, she is gonna be great, a great poisoner, one of the best so far. So let's talk about her exclusives. The first one, after casting the second skill, Crystal Mark, the first active skill, each time 1 layer of poison is inflicted on the target when any ally pursues and attacks, Melot additionally deals attack damage to them, which increases for each 1 layer of poison the target has. This damage is considered as poison damage. Pretty huge if you use her with other poisoners, otherwise it is not gonna work because nobody is gonna pursue the target. Second exclusive, at the start of each wave, grants all ally 1 layer of poison and enhancement. Be careful, it's not gonna work with non-poisoner heroes, but because you need at least 2 poison enhancement on your heroes, and non-poisoner heroes won't be able to get any poison enhancement after this one, so it's not gonna work with them. But it's pretty nice for your other poisoners. When she has 3 layers of poison enhancements, she is gonna grant self 1 layer of crystal protection, which one reduces self all damage received up to 1 layers. So pretty nice, she's gonna be more tanky with the second exclusive here. It's not a broken one, but it's still interesting. Third one, increases self poison damage dealt. Meanwhile, Crystal Burst, so the ultimate, deals extra poison damage for each layer of poison the target have respectively, increases the extra damage. So maybe she's gonna hit hard in AoE using the ultimate, especially if you use her with Nita, probably because you can inflict a lot of poisons with Nita. So Nita first, then Melot, and maybe it's gonna deal a huge amount of damage in the arena and in PvE. So it's pretty interesting. I think that it's not broken, but still really interesting. So let's talk about the second legendary hero, Veronica. It's another poisoner for the foresters, an attacker with the blue mark. She is more like a DPS poison than a support for your team. She doesn't provide anything for your team, if I remember correctly, but she can be a main poisoner. So, first attack deals 2 stages of attack each to a single enemy with a chance to inflict 1 layer of poison for 2 turns. So this is the only poisoner in the game that can inflict up to 2 layers of poison using the basic attack. It's great, especially if you use her with Ben Austin and Catherine. Second skill deals 3 stages of attack damage each to a single enemy, which with a chance to inflict 1 layer of poison for 2 turns. So you can inflict up to 3 poisons on a single target using the second skill, so it's pretty interesting. Remember that Nita can inflict 3 layers of poison at once using her ultimate on all enemies. So, passive, for each layer of poison inflicted by self, grants self 1 layer of venom, and when she has layers of venom, maybe it's gonna be 3 layers, I think, something like that, she is gonna consume all the layers and enter the explosive venom form during 3 turns. When she is in explosive form, she increases self-effect hit and poison damage dealt, and she can't be inflicted with poisons. This is interesting for the faction abbeys because you have some stages with poisoners. It can also be interesting in the arena if the enemy is playing a poison team. More effect hits, more poison damage is pretty huge. Finally, her ultimate. So something really important also. When she enters explosive form, she doesn't get an extra turn, so she won't lose her cooldowns, and this is important to mention that. So, ultimate deals 2 stages of attack damage and poison damage each to a single enemy. Pretty nice to split the damage. Poison damage scale over the attack and the mastery, so it's pretty huge. Meanwhile, the first stage has a chance to inflict deep poisoning 1 for 2 turns, pretty nice to increase your damage, poison ones. If the target has no less than 3 layers of poison, so if the target has 3 or more layers of poisons, the second stage has a chance to inflict the same poison layers as the target has already. It's pretty huge. Imagine the target has 5 layers of poisons, then using this skill you are gonna double the layers of poison on the target, so he will have 10 layers after that. It's pretty insane. But if it's not the case, if the target has less than 3 layers of poisons when you learn this skill, then the second stage will inflict we'll have some chance to inflict 3 layers of poisons instead. 3 layers, it's still great. 3 layers is awesome. And then let's talk about her exclusive, the first one. Each stage of Poisonous Spears strikes, so it's the basic attack, yeah. And Poisonous Spear combo, so it's the Poisonous Spear combo, the first active skill here. Deals extra poison damage, and when you are in the explosive venom form, for every 1 layer of poison the target has, increases the extra damage up to 100%. So once you have this exclusive, probably she is gonna hit super hard with her basic attack and her first active skill. So this one can be huge. Second exclusive reduces the direct damage dealt by enemies with poison to Veronica. Okay, only for Veronica, so I don't like this kind of things. It's the same as heroes that can provide a shield only on themselves and not on other allies. It's a bit selfish in my opinion, but why not? She is a DPS, so she deserves that. When any enemy with poison dies, it transfers their poison to the enemy with the lowest HP percentage and refreshes the duration. This is a super efficient exclusive. It's the same as Luff does almost, because Luff, when he inflicts HP burnings on enemies, if he kills an enemy with direct damage or with HP burning damage, then the target is gonna, with the lowest percentage HP remaining, is gonna get an extra layer of HP burning. All enemies will have that with exclusive. It's a great one. Imagine you do that in the arena or in dungeon on the first enemy who is gonna take his turn. He dies, then the next one takes the dots, he dies, and so on. This is super powerful in my opinion. Let's talk about the last one. When Self has explosive venom, so the second form, for every 6 layers of poison inflicted by Self grants Self 1 layer of venomous rush, each of which increases Self poison damage dealt up to 5 layers. And explosive venom will not be removed when the owner dies or at the wave transition. In my opinion, this kind of form shouldn't require an exclusive in order to stay on the battlefield. But okay, let's talk about the rest. Here, I don't know how it is gonna work. I think that you are gonna need to already be in explosive venom form, then inflict 6 layers of poisons in order to get the maximum layers of damage bonuses here. So you have only 3 turns of this form. I don't know how it is gonna work. Maybe it's gonna be a good one, maybe not. I don't know yet. We have to try it before to be sure. Finally, let's talk about the epic hero, Hatos. It's a defensive unit from the Sunset Sages and with the green mark. I think this hero won't help anywhere in the game, but maybe he can help to get some stars in the Sunset Sages faction early game, because he is he is like Hardak or Hazier, something like this, or Holder. They are heroes that can solo some content early game in order to get some stars in the faction abyss. It's interesting. So let's talk about his kit. Basic attack deals death damage to a single enemy with a chance to inflict stun for 1 turn, and the chance is doubled if you land a crit with this attack. So you need to build him with some crit rate. Second skill deals 2 stages of death damage to a single enemy with an extra crit rate, and if this skill lands a crit, you are gonna restore self HP by a certain percentage of max HP. So yeah, it's a bit selfish. It could have been better if he could restore the HP of allies instead of only himself. A bit selfish. Passive, he deals more direct damage to enemies with debuffs. Okay, this is a tank, but he should deal a lot of damage apparently. Okay, then ultimate deals death damage to all enemies, and extend the duration of the non-controlled debuffs on them for 1 turn. This can be interesting, but this is an ultimate and probably he's gonna have a 4-turn cooldown on this skill, so probably it's not gonna be super efficient, but still it can help. Meanwhile, grants Stealth a shield by 30% of max HP for 2 turns. Why only applying a shield on himself and not on the team? That makes him useless in a team comp. I don't understand that. First exclusive, each stage of Dusty Wine combo has extra 80% crit damage. This is the first active skill here. Okay, so more damage. Why not? Second exclusive, Hatos has a chance to counterattack the attacker when taking active damage from a debuffed enemy. Okay, so let's be honest, this guy can't inflict debuffs on enemies only the stun, but a stun enemy can't attack you. So what is the point here? He can't do anything by himself. He requires to use him with at least another hero to land debuffs on enemies. This is not great in my opinion. And the counterattack can be stacked with the buff counterattack from Catherine, okay? It's useless for the Faction Abyss. And I'm pretty sure that you won't use him with Catherine, okay? So it doesn't really matter, in fact. Finally, a Sandstorm Smash on the third exclusive, the ultimate, deals more damage for each layer of debuff the target has up to 100%. But one more time, you want to use him for the Faction Abyss to get some stars, but apparently you need to use him with a team using a lot of debuffs in order to increase his own damage. But he won't shine anywhere in my opinion. So that was all for the video. Tell me what you think about these three heroes. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and then see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Infinite Magicraid. Play to slay.